Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to a new VOD review. This time we're going to go over two different games actually. From Ice Coffee, he's going to be called Coffee in-game directly. This is a silver DPS player who wants me to look up his gameplay for, if I remember correctly, the specifics were about the old usage, the timing tips, and stuff like that. But basically I have already watched the footage. I already know what I want to talk about, so let's just jump into it right away. So you're gonna play Reaper on this. You're
It's a good album.
you're gonna have. I know one of your tank is gonna switch because you had like a Winston and a Sigma or something like that. Yeah, there you go. You're gonna have Winston Sigma with a Symmetra, and I think you have a No, not a Lucio, right? You have a Lucio? No. You have a Moira
Trap,
and what
hip-hop,
else?
jazz,
Can we tell?
pop, every genre you can imagine.
We can't really tell. Okay. Well, anyways.
Even opera.
Already, what's kind of funny is that the very first instant that the game starts, there's already two problems. And one of them, okay, so first of all, the stream starts, like, the game starts 15 minutes in because you did a quick play game before that, I think it was. And that's good. That's really good that you're doing this. At least you're getting warmed up in terms of your mechanics before you go into the game. But one thing that I really don't like already coming into it is that you're playing music.
Pop, every genre
Now,
you can
okay,
imagine.
hear me out on that, okay? Because some, like, if you look into grandmasters and top 500 people that stream and play the game a lot, yes, those people do play music when they play the game, but those people have like really just like pristine levels of game sense and so on, and they don't rely on very subtle sounds too much. Now onto, in terms of this, it's actually like really soft music that we can barely hear it in the middle of fights, but it can muffle the sound, for instance, of footsteps of people if you're trying to flank, and that can lead to your death. So I'm not saying, like, if you really just want to keep playing with your music, just go for it. I'm not gonna stop you, but even I can't really play with music because I'm too concentrated on actually what's happening on my screen to actually care about the music I'm listening to when I'm playing the game. If I'm playing quick play, I don't really care. If I'm playing deathmatch, I don't care. I can even watch, I don't know, like if I can PewDiePie video when I'm doing my stuff. Like, it doesn't really matter. But if you're in a competitive environment, and you are striving to improve, you need to make sure that you're actually gonna do everything that's in your power to be at the top. And playing music is already kind of a problem. Another big
Trap,
problem
hip-hop,
right here, and
jazz,
this Winston, by the way, does the exact same problem here.
into one.
I'm just leaving it here so that you can. I'm pretty sure you're gonna guess what I mean. But Reaper is really mobile, and you're not using that mobility to get a head start, basically. Now, in Overwatch, there's a lot of talk about like taking space, about where does your character, if you should you stay with your team, for instance, should your Winston be further up than your Sigma and so on. And it's all a matter of taking the position before the enemy team, because if the enemy team comes before you, either because they use their mobility cooldown or because they have a Lucio speed boosting them, they're gonna have an advantage because you're gonna attack into them. And if you attack into them, you have to use your cooldown and you have to move first so they get to react. This is why it gives them an advantage. Now, I already have a game set up. Reaper's already waiting over here. When you come out of spawn, usually the Reaper, both of his abilities are movement abilities in a way, because Shadow Step makes him go faster by 50%, and his E is going to teleport him. Now, I know you know this. Everybody knows this when they play Reaper, that this is something that he does, but there's a difference between knowing this and applying it to the game, right? When you come out of this, I want you to take space as quickly as you can so that the enemy team doesn't take it from you. So you're going to come out with raid form, The moment the waveform's over, you're gonna TP. Now, of course, your TP is gonna be on cooldown once you come over here, so you gotta make sure you're gonna take the space that you want. For instance, maybe you're not gonna TP there. Maybe that's not a good idea. But if you TP over here, well, you're already in a better position here. Because if the enemy team tries to attack into you, you have an advantage. You have the high ground, you can drop off the high ground, you can do what you want here. And if the enemy team if they don't attack into you, well, you're still here, you know, you still have your position. You can go over here. You can take this ground over here if you need to. You can go under here. There's so many possibilities from here. Whereas in this game, basically you're going to be positioned over here. And what are you going to do once you're over here? Well, let's look it up. So, we kind of lost the fight, but why? What happened here? Well, the answer is not much happened. Really, that's actually just the problem. Nothing really happens in terms of what your team does. You're poking them from afar, but they have all the sustain and they have all the tanking. Like, okay, here, for instance, when you're shooting at them over here, yes, you're doing damage to them, right? You're technically doing something, but in reality, you're doing nothing. None of the damage that you're doing is gonna be relevant because they have a Brigitte that is healing them, and I think they have a Moira. So any amount of damage that you're gonna do from that far isn't gonna do anything. Now you're pushing this Doomfist for a bit, but you immediately give up on it, and you're just kind of, again, you see what's happening? Your tanks die, and why did your tanks die? What did they do? They just feed. They probably just fed, it's over. Where's your Winston? Oh, your Winston just jumped in and he's gonna die instantly, isn't he? Yeah, he kinda just jumped in and died. Because your Winston's probably not communicating anything. I mean, to be fair, there isn't much that he can dive as Winston. That's probably just because playing Winston is not a good idea in this situation. He doesn't have anything that he can just jump in except everyone and die. And it's similar for you too. There's not much you can do aside from just going in, and if you go in, you're just gonna die, right? So in that case, it's all a matter of like, as we can see, you're gonna play Symmetra eventually. Symmetra would be better in this case because you're staying behind the shield and you're just slowly but surely eating them with their shields and stuff. The Brig can't really do anything. The Reaper needs to go past the shield if he wants to do something about it. And same thing applies for Reinhardt. He needs to go forward and so on. So you're going to be doing more stuff. Whereas with Reaper, you're going to be shooting the shields. And you're going to be shooting them from this angle, from this far away. Reaper doesn't do anything. Hold up. Let's just get a bot going on. Because effective range is really, really important for each heroes. Not everybody really looks, not everybody thinks about it really like a lot, but Reaper, for instance, the moment you get out of like extreme short range, he does very, very little damage.
Repositioning.
It took 8 shots to kill this Zen, whereas Reaper can one-shot, usually. Reaper does 140 damage per shot. And if he headshots them, he can basically kill them. If I'm close to him, you can see I just kill him in 2 shots, right? So compare this, also Reaper shoots 2 per second, so if it took me 8 shots, this means that it takes Reaper 4 seconds to kill this Zen from far away, and that's without any healing, right? From this far away. Now you see, that's mostly because, yes, Reaper has a big spread, but he also has damage fall-off that starts really, really close.
Good.
Now, you may notice. I'm not acting like everybody's an idiot, but you're not acting like you notice, right? Like you're gonna get close, but you're not getting any closer than this, right? Now you may think, well, if you're gonna go in there, you're gonna die, right? But you have an escape. You have your shift as an escape. And why did you use your shift here? You use it for speed to get to the Hammond? Is that the reasoning behind it? Like you see the ball, and you decide that chasing a ball is a good idea. Yeah, you see how well that turned out? Okay. Another like quick math about everything, about like those little thing. In raid form, you get a 50% movement boost. This means that Reaper gets from 5.5 meters per second to it should be 7.75, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas Hammond rolling goes at 10 meters per second. He's just faster than you no matter what he does. Hammond, you will not kill Hammond unless he's really, really bad at the game, right? So if you use your mobility ability to get to him and your escape ability at the same time, basically, that leaves you vulnerable, because then you can no longer even attempt to go in, because then what are you gonna do, right? You're just gonna die. You don't have your cooldown anymore. Now that's just okay. This 1v1 against the Doom. I actually want to talk about the 1v1. Now I know that eventually he's gonna kill you, but first, at this point here, there is a certain amount of mechanical skill that we need to talk about, right? Because missing this shot on the Doomfist is kind of crucial. He still runs away, right? But this could have easily been turned into a kill for you. Now again, we're in silver. I don't expect everybody to have to be able to just kill everybody with your aim, you know? I don't necessarily expect this from you, but I expect that you're gonna work on it. If you want to improve, you're gonna have to work on it. It took me a long time for this. I really suck at mechanical stuff in terms of the games in general. I don't work well under pressure. This is why I started as a Mercy maid. But eventually I did get better, right? And those kinds of shots are... I mean, I could do give you some tips on aiming, but I'm not really the best at doing this, so I suggest you go look up people that would try to help you aim. Probably the best would just be to go on deathmatch and just feed your brains out until they actually just make you better at the game. But your mechanics are going to be different from your game sense. Now we're going to go more into your game sense, but I'm still telling you the mechanics do need some amount of work. Now, not pushing this, that's a smart move. You probably could have gotten the kill, but you would have died for it. So I do think this is a good idea. Yes, the Reinhardt is exposing himself here. But there's a Reaper right next to him. There's a Brig right next to him. I don't think you could have actually managed to survive if you had gone on him. However, this, I'm pretty sure you could have killed the Brig. Yes, there was a Doomfist on you, and the Reaper was coming in, but I think that your team is, your Sigma's right next to you, your Moira's right next to you. You could have killed this Brig. And that's a big part about Overwatch I really want to talk about here, and it's punishing mistakes. This Brig is making a mistake here. Right away, she's 1v1ing a Reaper. If you're Brig, you do not 1v1 a Reaper. That's not how you play Brig. You're gonna die if you do it, right? There's nothing Brigida can do alone against a Reaper. So if she starts pushing you, you as Reaper need to make sure that she understands that she can't chase you, right? You are the one that's going to be chasing her. But instead we run away. Even though our team is with us, right? I'm fairly certain our Moira could have healed us through and actually made us survive this brig fight too. Even if there was a Reaper, even if there was Doomfist coming in. My guess is that it's the Doomfist that made you scared here. Which, fair enough. Doomfist can be scary here. But then if the Doomfist is the one that made you scared, why did you just go in and 1v1 him afterwards, right? There's kind of an inconsistency here. You run away at the sight of Doomfist attacking you, only to immediately go back into 1v1 the Doomfist instead. Now your rate wasn't active at that time, so because you just used it. But since the beginning, you still haven't used Shadow Step once. I know it's gonna take you until round 3 to actually use it once, which again, it is a problem. It is definitely a problem. If you're in this situation where there's a Doomfist coming in onto you, first of all, you probably should not have gone this way. This technically is a mistake on your part. Going this way was a mistake. But where can you go then? Well, your healers are going to be over here, and Doomfist is over there. Doomfist can't really do anything if you're over here, right? So you can come over here, and eventually you need to start pressuring the supports, which are like always staying over here. Now, I'll give you just a little trick here with Reaper. Use your Shadow Step and go over here.
Repositioning.
That's a really, really nice spot, especially for Dead Blossom. When you're in the middle of a fight, if you hear the Brigitte use your shield bash, that's the time where you just go in and kill everything, right? Because suddenly you're behind the enemy team, and it's really fast. In the middle of a fight, you don't realize that for the enemy team. I mean, from this perspective maybe, but you can do it from here. From here, it's not that easy for people that are on the point to know that this is happening, right?
Repositioning.
But we're not going to see you use this because, again, you don't use Shadow Step. And now that I talked about the movement abilities make you come back from spawn faster, look at how painful it feels to look at you come back from spawn when you're not using anything. When you know you could just be coming back faster. You realize how long it took for you to get back? 2 of your teammates died during that time. Yeah, getting stuck here is just a little. It's not that bad, honestly. It's just a matter of playing more. And I would kind of like to put the emphasis on coming back from spawn faster because you do it once. Like, at some point, one time, you decide to just do that. You use your rate to come back faster. And I don't know why you use it once, and then afterwards you just forget about it. It's just kind of weird. But if you do want to improve, you're going to have to think about this, right? Once you come out of spawn, you have things to think about, right? It's not just a matter of being brain dead until you come back from the fight. Eventually, once you get really used to the padding, once you have your rollouts when you come out on the map, then you can be kind of brain dead. Although things like, you need to think about which altar people are going to use, what's your next plan, and so on. You still need to think about stuff. You can't really be brain dead. Anyways. Now you've got your Dead Blossom, and you're gonna use it really quickly. We're gonna go over the ult usage first, but just a little thing over here as well. It's a really small thing that I'm gonna talk about right now, but it's still something that I want to talk about. You should have reacted to this Wrecking Ball slamming in much quicker. Because from what I can see, you react to you being launched up in the air. Right? This is where you realize that something's happening and you turn around. Whereas, in theory, the moment you should be reacting to it is... Hold up. This is when you should be turning around. Because you heard the Wrecking Ball. And he's really close. You can hear him, you know he's coming. Listen. This is how this is how you use sound, you know? And often when people play music, it's because they're not listening too much to audio cues. I have a friend of mine that turns sound effects from the game off when he played, and it just really showed because he didn't know like when anything was happening. And when he started putting sound on, he was like, "What? This is what I was missing?" And yeah, it is what you're missing. Like, when you're really new at the game and when you're trying to improve, sound is like one of the most important aspects of the game that you need to master. You need to understand, because basically sound are things that you can be made aware of without them being in your line of sight. Like this Wrecking Ball using his pile driver. When you hear the pile driver, you know that the ability is being used and you know where it is. It's behind you, right? In fact, a really good player would tell that this is when Wrecking Ball is gonna go on them because they see him wind up, right? Now we're gonna go in and we're gonna ult. Brigitte use a shield bash. This is the time to go in. And I know you're looking for it, right? You're looking for an opening. You're looking to get behind the shield, right? You're really trying to find a place where the enemy won't spot you and you can just get behind them. If only you had an ability that let you do that more easily, let's say. And then you're just gonna go in, right? And because you just went in, basically just announcing that you were going to Dead Blossom, while the Reinhardt can just kind of afford to solo shattering you, right? Because he knew that was gonna happen. I mean, we're not gonna go over it again, but Shadow Step. Shadow Step is really good now that they've buffed it, right? Before it was kind of like annoying because you could just get shoved before it and so on. But when you're over here, you just look from here. You can just go in.
Repositioning.
You see how easy it is? And then you can even land on top of the Reinhardt if you're good enough at this. And if you land on top of the Reinhardt, his shield isn't going to do anything, right? Well, I mean, it's not going to do anything to him. It's going to confuse him, and he's probably going to get some kills aside from that, right? Anyways, we lose that. Do we? Yeah, we do. Okay, next one. And also I'm gonna go to the next one as well. Okay, we're going in. Alright. Now same thing's happening. Now we have an Ashe, it doesn't really matter. And now the enemy team is gonna put us a Bastion, right? Now, dealing with a Bastion is really tricky for low elo. Because essentially, just so that we're aware of what's happening, against a Bastion that knew how to aim, you'd be dead already, by the way. You're in Bastion's line of sight, right? think about it as this. If he decides that he wants to set up right over here, you go anywhere but here. If you go here, you effectively just let the Bastion kill you. There's no reason that you should go into this position once the Bastion is set up over here, because you're effectively allowing him to basically profit from the position he's in right now. Now, there are multiple other ways. You can go over this way. This way is much easier because he gets way less uptime onto shooting you. You can even go on top because, again, remember Shadow Step? Fuck, I need to go get Reaper. These little steps over here are places that you can teleport to. Look at that. You want to surprise a Bastion? You can come right next to him, right here. Once you're next to the Bastion, you still don't do more damage than he does, but you're at the very least in position for actually poking him here, right? And since you didn't use your raid form, if you do get in trouble, you just go away. It doesn't matter. You're gonna be invincible until you get back to your team. Another way, so yeah, once you enter this spot over here, you're basically inviting the Bastion to shoot you. And you might not think about this, because you see a Reaper in there, you start shooting him, and you just go for it, right? But, effectively, again, against any kind of Bastion that knew how to aim, you'd be dead here. I don't know how you're not dying actually to this, right? See how you're into Bastion's line of sight right now? For really, really long? Like, why did you go there? What was the point of going there, right? What was the point of that little thing? That little jump, that little kind of poke? Yeah, okay, the ball dies, doesn't matter. If he wants to be bad at the game, he can be. But what are you doing here, right? You don't have a shield here, you're at 60 HP. You should be dead. There's no reason you shouldn't be dead right now. And yet you're gonna survive. Because you use your cooldown. Now this brig's gonna die. I really hope this brig is gonna die, right? There we go, she dies, okay. Now this Reaper's gonna die, but... remember what I was talking about? This is really, really tricky, right? This is a tricky spot. Because if the Bastion was just holding the click in the specific... just right where his Reaper was, you'd be dead. You would have fallen right into the Bastion here, right? Now your Orisa went all the way on the other side, and remember what I was talking about avoiding the lines of sight? This is what your Orisa's doing. She kind of knows what she's doing. Or at the very least, I hope she does. Because she's probably just... she might just be doing something and hoping that it works, right? But right now, you're... oh, god damn it. Your team isn't actually taking any space, right? The Bastion just kind of set himself up, and... where are we? There we go, that's where we are. You're staying really... you're staying in this Bastion's line of sight for a really long time. Now, granted, he's not shooting at you right now, so you can use this, but now he's shooting at you. Okay. And now we finally decide to go on the flank. Which we need to go back off immediately because, you know, the Reaper and stuff. Now, again, now using your cooldown to get over here, that's fine. But you didn't need to use your shift again, did you? Maybe if the enemy team could have, maybe the enemy team could have killed you if you used your Shadow Step here. But still, right? Shadow Step is purely used for movement. Whereas your raid form is mostly, it's gotta, yes, it can be movement if you're coming out of spawn, but it's mostly a matter, you can use it to reload, you can use it to get, you know, slightly more healing and to get out of situations, whereas your E isn't really gonna make you get out of situation, right? So at the end of the day, Yorisa still didn't understand that she needed to get out. And now you need to get out. And I really don't know why you didn't use your shift. Your shift is available here, right? It's still available for a long time. You seem to kind of forget that you have abilities here. Like the Reaper goes on you, and suddenly you die. And I see what you're doing here. Now my guess is that you were gonna go complain about the Moira. Because you saw the Moira and you were like, oh, Moira's DPSing, right? This is what you saw, right? You saw your Moira right next to you, and you were like, oh, Moira's gonna heal me, but why doesn't Moira heal me? Well, because Moira's not looking at you, isn't she? You're not telling your Moira that you need healing. Moira doesn't know that you need healing because you're not in her line of sight. So if you're gonna start complaining about that, you gotta watch out, right? Because you have your escape. You have your abilities. You can heal. You can even shoot the Reaper for your healing, right? Moira isn't the only source of healing, and she's not the only solution here. So if you're gonna go and... maybe you weren't even gonna complain about the Moira. Maybe you just typing stuff, or you actually want to communicate with the Moira. I don't know. But whatever you're doing right now, I know you saw the Moira, and I know you could have gotten out of this situation by yourself. Right? Maybe that's what you realize here. And now we're going back to the fight by walking. Pushing this Reaper is good. That's a good idea. This Reaper's not in a good position right now. He's not in a good position because none of his team is with him, and your team is all around. Or at the very least, they're going this way. So you kind of equal, and you land more shots than him. So right away, you do have some really... you did lead to this Reaper getting eliminated, so that's good. And now you're in a good position too, and you're gonna go for the Dead Blossom out of nowhere. And I know Anna didn't communicate anything to you. I know she just did. She saw you ult, she pressed Q, everybody presses Q and we win, right? This is Overwatch. You press Q, you win. And I mean, it's not a bad Q, but the bashing could have just killed you, right? Let's be fair. I mean, not even. Actually, not even. He couldn't have killed you from there. You were on the other side. Granted. Now, in terms of, is this a necessary Blossom? Well, if we look at the kill feed from there on, you need to wonder, like, you need to think about what we're looking for. We use Bob. And we already used Moira's ult. So we already combined 2 ults right now. Then we gotta pick. Now Bob dies, rip Bob. But Reaper died. So we're already up 2. And we've already used 2 ults. Was this necessary? I don't think so. It definitely wasn't necessary. I think you kind of just use it because, well, we kind of need to win a fight at some point, right? So you want to use it, you want to show that. But honestly, Reaper's ult isn't even that good in terms of what it actually does. It basically just auto-aims for you and it hits everybody. It does the same amount of DPS as you usually do. So I wouldn't necessarily think, for instance, here that you can definitely build it back up, right? It's not that big of a deal, although there was an ult charge nerf recently, so maybe that might be something to look into. But it's not like, you know, it's not definitely, I don't think it was necessary, but seeing the circumstances, I wouldn't necessarily call this, you know, it is a mistake, but we can let it slide, right? Anyways, you've won the fight at this point, right? Now their ball isn't doing anything. It's kind of weird. Now I want to talk about this position here. Because I don't like this position. I really don't like where you are right now. Why are you on that side? Because your Orisa is going to be here. Okay. The rest of your team is over here. And the enemy team are going to be coming from that side over there, right? Maybe one of them is going to come through this if they decide to. But I don't know what you're going to attempt to do here. Because if like your shot aren't going to do any damage from this far away. And now that's where the enemy is, right? And you're really, really far away. And just like that, you have to come back to your team out of nowhere, right? And you nearly died for it too. Now this position, let's talk about this, right? What do you gain from being in this position? Well, you control this part of the map, right? But you're the only one that's controlling this. If more than 2 people come over here, if a Reaper and a Brig come over here, you have to back up, right? If only the Reaper come here, maybe you can try to, you know, out 1v1 him, that's fine. But to me, the only reason you would ever come over here is so that you can more easily come here and flank them, right? And then shoot them from up here. Which, if you're going to do that, you might as well be here instead, right? If you're here, you still have a good idea of, like, if the enemy team's coming this way, you're already in range of your shotguns here, right? Whereas if you're over here, you're gonna, like, the enemy team's gonna see you, by the way, right? They can see you through this. So it's not a surprise if you're over here, whereas if you're over here, then that's gonna be a surprise if you're here. You could even just hold over here. It doesn't, like, here you have, like, coverage from your Ana. Your Ana can heal you, right? And you're gonna be right in front of your Ana. It's really unlikely that she's not gonna heal you, right? So if you're right over here, you're right in range of your shotguns, and you can still shoot them. And hell, if they start pushing, you can just go back to your team, right? And without using your 8 form. So if the Reaper comes in, you can either kill him or you can get away. You can do all sorts of stuff, right? Also over here, I don't know if you can actually TP anywhere else here. Oh, you can TP here. Oh, that's really nice. You know what I mean?
Repositioning.
Oh, that looks cool. Alright. I didn't know that. I'm pretty sure Reaper mains will notice. And now you need to run away. Okay. Let's talk about this. I'm telling you, okay, right here. When I'm talking about punishing mistakes, this Brig is suicidal, right? This Brig is absolutely suicidal. Okay, you saw the Brig. Brig is coming this way. And there's Brig and Moira, right? Brig and Moira. There's no healers. Their Bastion's over there. If their Bastion's over there, that means their tanks are over there, right? Because if Bastion's alone there, your Orisa's gonna kill him. And so Brig is coming in again. You saw Brig coming in. Moira's here. Push them. Push them and kill them. Brig will not kill you. These two will not kill you. You out-healed both of their damage with your self-healing. And not only that, you have this self-heal amp from Ana. You're not gonna die this if you go there. And recognizing that you're not gonna die there is important, right? So you push. Push, push, walk forward and kill them. Instead, we leave the Brig here. And yes, we do end up killing her. But you see the hesitation? There's a lot of hesitation here, which is problematic. This Brig could have died 3 seconds earlier, maybe, or so. And dying 3 seconds earlier means that there's way more chances that the fight is going to be equal quickly. Because now you've already lost someone. Now the Moira fades away. And if this Brig had been smart and just started heading away, maybe she could have lived because you backed off. you definitely got out of your effective range. So there's entirely a possibility that she could have survived this. Now what's the problem here? Was it the flank? Was the flank the problem? No. The problem was not the flank. You go ahead, you end up killing this Brig. Nice. But what's the problem? This is a good position. This is not. Bastion is right here. Anywhere past this over here is safe. If you're flanking and you're 1v1ing a Reinhardt from here, you're fine. You're in a good position here. The moment the Bastion can see you, you're no longer in a good position. This is how precise it can be. This can be a bad position, whereas this is a good one, right? This is why you die here. The intent was good. Ryan cannot 1v1 you again. Yeah, there's not much things that can 1v1 a Reaper, aside from characters like Widowmaker and Doomfist that can just insta-kill him, because he's got so much sustain, right? Brig literally physically cannot 1v1 you. There's nothing she can do about it. Reinhardt maybe can land a charge, but really, you should make this Reinhardt run away. This is the ideal, right? But instead, this Bastion kills you because you walk into his line of sight. And this isn't because Bastion is OP. It's because you walked into where the Bastion was. And this is where I talk about you use Raid Form to come back. How convenient, but you don't use Shadow Step. I don't know why. This is the only time you're gonna use it to come back from a fight. It's weird. I don't know why. Also, your team kind of just wins this. I don't know how they win. I don't know how they won this, but good for them, I guess. Oh, we got the first communication of the game. Oh shit, Reaper's flanking. The Ashe is gonna tell you because she died from it. Now she knows, right? Reaper flanking. Is this your job to go take care of that? I mean, you could definitely take care of that, right? That could be your job. But I would say maybe you're already down one of your healers because your Ana's respawning. So Ana's coming back from spawn. And their Reaper, by the way, their Reaper flanked and got a kill. Which is something that you haven't done yet, right? You haven't gone in their backline and killed something, right?
I was on a 9-player tertiary too. God damn it.
Yep. Okay, so everybody's just pushed up onto your team. Didn't anybody die? I didn't look it up. Hold up. I think your team's already kind of lost the fight at this point. This ball's just kind of doing whatever he wants because nobody's punishing him because you don't have stuns aside from Ana's sleep dart, but Ana's not going to land the sleep dart. Yeah, you've already lost 2 at this point and they're starting to use ult and they're charging in. This is time to get out. Or, a good alternative here is the entire enemy team is charging into you, right? If you're feeling confident about it, there's no tanks protecting this Bastion right now, right? Maybe there's a support. Maybe Moira's out there attacking them. I don't know where Moira is right now. Oh, that's where she is. And she faded away. So technically there's nothing preventing you from killing this Bastion, right? Now you got extremely lucky on that. Now did you? Let's be honest about this, right? You should not have lived this. Your team's already down 2. Your Ana's respawning. But Anna lands a fat anti before she dies. There's only you and one other person left, I think. I haven't heard this Brigitte use Shield Bash.
We were blank. I was on a 9-player tertiary too. God damn it.
She may have used her Shield Bash onto the Orisa. That might be a thing. But still, most of the time, those characters should have been able to out-damage you. Right? And yet, you got really lucky here, right? Even luckier that this Bastion did not know how to aim, right? Because that right here is extremely bold, right? It's extremely bold. You're walking straight into a Bastion. You're walking straight into a Bastion, right? I get that. Okay, I get that you basically like you think that you won, but you're still down like 4 people, right? You know this, right? This is equal. This is not you winning right now. Okay, there you go. Luckily, this Bastion can't aim.
Much better.
Now they're gonna push in without their Bastion, which is ridiculous. They're already down 1 and they're gonna push in. Now what did I talk about? Look at where this brig is gonna be. Look at where this brig is. Why aren't we pushing the brig here? I get that there's a Reaper close, right? I get that there was a Reaper close to this place. It was like right here, right? But he ran away and he doesn't have raid form, whereas you do. Even though you used it to run away from a brig. I guess we kind of understand where this is going, right? There's no reason to run away from a brig that is basically completely alone at this point, right? In fact, this brig is effectively going to support the Reaper into killing Urana. You kind of just let Urana to deal with that, right? Oh, are you gonna kill her? You're gonna run away again! You run away from a brig! Don't be scared of the brig. I know she used to be scary, but now she's basically just a tame little bunny. Yeah, kill this Ryan. There we go. And then we ult because it's 99. We might as well. We're gonna win the fight anyways. Even though now would have been a much better idea to use Death Blossom, right? It's 99 anyways, so if you're losing this, you're just out. There we go. Push, push, push. There we go. See how easy it is? Okay, watch out. You can still die from this. Okay, there you go. There we go. Now you're killing stuff. You're killing stuff because... Why are you killing stuff? Because you're holding W into them. You're not running away. You keep going into their faces. This is how you kill people with... Go forward! W! There you go! Directly in his face. There we go. There we go. He's anti. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Oh, god, the aim. This is your Winston. There we go. Once you hold W into people, it's insane
1-1.
how much you start winning. And then we're going to the next one. The next one is a bit trickier. Especially because the enemy team is really... They're really, you know... Let's just say... They're determined to run cancer into you, right? They already pulled out the Bastion. And now we're going to pull... the good old surprise. Oh yeah, let's just Let's just acknowledge
Yeah, so I switched it.
the walk of shame at the beginning. I like to call it. And now you're running a Mei, so you're just as cancerous as them. Let's be honest. And you're still running a Winston. This guy really wants to play Winston into things that he shouldn't be playing Winston with. But that's not a problem. But they're running him. Hey. And what is it that we're hearing? We don't even need to see. We already heard. What did we hear? We hear Symmetra turrets. We hear the Symmetra turrets. We know there's a Symmetra. It's 2-2-2. There's no more DPSs. Symmetra Mei. You hear the turrets. You even see the turrets. You don't even need to see the sim. You know there's a sim. Now this is a time where, yeah, this is a time where an escape ability is useful. Why did you use it? What made you think this was a good idea to use it now? You're being frozen. Makes sense. Okay, right. That's good. But because now you know that you don't have your escape ability, do not go back in, right? Do not do the exact same thing after you've gotten away from it, right? But yeah, they're running into... They're gonna run into you. It's just... There's not much you can do here, right?
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, should I swap Sim then? What do we do with Sim?
And now for the first time, I'm pretty sure this is where the first time you use Shadow Step. Oh, just a heads up, you can kill these walls. They're really easy to kill with Reaper. I think it's like 3 shots or something. But what is this? Repress the E. And just like that, we killed the Bray. Look at how easy it was. I want you to do it again. Can you do it again?
Yeah, I was 2v1ing.
Now you're still... Now, okay, you lost your Winston, but that's just a matter of fact, because Winston is just playing Winston. But can you do that again? Oh, you're doing it again! Now this is getting interesting, right? Yes, kill him. Watch out, there's a sim on you. Yes, run away. That's good. Alright. We're getting the hang of it. Watch out, there's still turrets.
Wow,
Yeah, that's just unfortunate.
we got you too.
That's just being a matter of being quick on the draw, right? Also, by the way, I know we can't hear you. I do see you talk. I know we can't hear you. If you want to fix that, you just need to make sure that OBS records your microphone input, because the game doesn't actually get your input, right? If I just decide to unmute myself in here and I start talking, you don't hear me talk more, because Overwatch doesn't actually make my voice appear to myself, right?
Death walks.
Now, with Reaper on this map, what's really... You know, there's some spots on the map that are really fun here with Reaper, right? Look at that. Look at how high you can go. You can go all the way up there. You can go into their backline, right? And then once you're in their backline, the turrets are like over there. So you can even walk in here and force them to go back on point, right? You can play around these angles here. And basically, once you force them to go back on point, you're making space for your team. You're making space for your team because you're forcing the enemy team to give up the space that they have, which is like around here, so that they get back in, right? But you're not gonna do that here.
Hey Winston, you gotta be on turret cleanup. I know it sucks to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, this Mei talks about the Winston
Hey
being on.
Winston, you gotta be on turret cleanup.
Yeah, turn cleanup. Yeah, makes sense. That's basically what he's supposed to do. But I don't
I
think
know it sucks
this,
to say that, but
you know, this Winston's not really doing much. And now you're just gonna TP into the enemy team, and just, yep.
point! I'm on point!
Yeah, this is just really sad. Took you till the end to get your ult, and little did we know. I mean, this was a bold move of you, but I mean, at this point, you kind of just need to. It's desperation time. There's not much time. You've already lost someone. Yeah, there's not much you can do here.
I'm on point! I'm on point!
Yeah, there's not much you can do here. It's desperation time. Everybody's in overtime, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the enemy team had their ult, so there's not much you can do. Okay, we're gonna take a pause for this. We're gonna come back for the next. I mean, I might do a separate video because I've looked at your Symmetra gameplay, and this is kind of just the opposite, right? This is a roll. You're just rolling the enemy team. I mean, you're playing Sim into double shield, right? You're kind of just playing the meta, so it kind of makes sense that you're rolling them. But there are a few things. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go over it right away because I want to mention some stuff here. First of all, this right here. Placing a TP at spawn is okay. Only if you expect that they're like, you know, that you're gonna take a second fight here, right? Because when you think about it, Symmetra's teleporter is about... Hold up. Let's just switch map. Symmetra's teleporter is 30 meters range. I think that's the range of it. But essentially, what this means is that if heroes walk at around 5.5 meters per second, the best you're going to do is you're going to make characters walk back from spawn about 6 seconds earlier, right? It's not even a respawn time worth of it, right? And I know you're not even going to take it where you're going to respawn. I remember, you don't even actually take your own TP. But this distance here, the only time you're cutting is this, right? And there's a couple of heroes that already have movement abilities, right? If you want to just... Okay, hold up. I want to show this off, okay? I want to show this off. Like, some characters, like Wrecking Ball, if you want to go back to point, you can actually do this. Like, Wrecking Ball doesn't give a shit about your TP. But yeah, there's already, like, characters that are not even gonna care about your TP if it's over there. Characters like Doomface, characters like Tracer might care to some extent. But what you're looking into here is basically you're sacrificing your own ability to move your entire team in the middle of the fight for 6 additional seconds for people that respawn before they come back. And they don't even, like, they're gonna come back from spawn anyways, right? They still have the time to respawn and so on. This is why I don't like TPs coming back from spawn like that. You're sacrificing a lot of really cool stuff that Sim can do with the wall, with the TP. Now, in the Tracer matchup versus a Sim, actually, I want to mention that because technically what you're doing here, that's not really the best solution. Symmetra can one-shot Tracer. Do you know that? Because Symmetra does 120 damage per orb.
The true enemy of humanity.
These orbs do 120. So, if you add a 30 damage melee to that, that is a one-shot. You effectively can one-shot Tracer at close range if you flick it correctly at her. And so against Tracer, bursts of damage are more important here. You're going to look into hitting the Tracer with those orbs instead of just tracking her with that very slow beam. This is especially going to be scary to Tracer if she gets hit by an orb, right? But hey, you force recall because Tracer's bad and she doesn't realize that she's not really in danger. And you just keep spamming shield, which is perfectly fine. This is what you have to do here, right? In fact, I would even argue that you're not spamming quick enough. Right? You're waiting too long for your right click. You can release it way before that, right? Don't wait for the full ammo, right? If you're spamming over here, just spam. You spam. You let go of it as quickly as you can with terms of like it being as chargeable as possible, right? But anyways, this isn't even where Symmetra shines. Symmetra shines when she uses her primary fire on this, right? It goes pretty far. Look, it actually goes pretty far. So you can use this to your advantage here. You can get closer with your Risa and you can start melting the shields really, really quickly. Now, your aim is kind of going all over the place here. I don't know what... Hold on, what happened to... So you're using your ult the moment you get it, right? My guess is that you want this fight to be over. Or you just, like, you know, use ult, you win the game, right? And also, anyways, you got it pretty quickly, right? Maybe you just want to show off that you got it quickly. Sometimes people do that, right? They use their ult just to show that they have it. Now, in terms of target priority, this Mercy was the target here. This should have been your target. Because when Mercy's rezzing, she doesn't move as much. It's definitely... This is definitely trackable, right? And you notice this too late. You notice things, but you don't know... You take it too long to notice them. Anyways, you're gonna kill this Sarisa. There's no way this Sarisa is going away. Yep. And this Hog managed to miss a hook. That's really sad of him. And then everybody's dying because you're playing Symmetra and double shields. This poor Tracer can't do anything because she's playing Tracer. And this is just the magic of double shields.